If you lived in a world of Monster Hunter, where would you live? Would you want to live in one of the bustling towns or maybe one of the rural encampments? And which one? Well, seeing as though there are a lot of towns and cities in the Monster Hunter universe now, I think we can narrow it down to 5 good ones. I'm going to include everything in this list from spin-off games to the main series titles because we're talking about a shared universe. Here are my top 5 towns in Monster Hunter. The one thing Berta has more than any other town on this list is probably charm. The town itself, while first appearing in Generations, is full of yurts and it's pretty small. I like this town for 2 reasons. The first is that, despite its small size, it's very lively. There are a ton of people gathered around the campfire and everything is just very condensed. There's not a whole lot of running if you need to check your armor and weapons, and the Palico Ranch is just one screen away if you use that. And the Guild Mistress and Palico Chef are essentially right next to each other. It's convenient, if anything. There is a Hunter's Hub also nearby, and I really like how green everything is here. I wish I could change the camera angle to get a better look at some of the scenery, but as it stands, this is such a calming area, and the music and relative peace just makes for an enjoyable experience. The second reason I like Berta, and this may seem a little bit silly, but it's the Mufas. I fall for these suckers almost as much as the Palicos. They're just so goddamn cute. You even have a tiny Mufa in your house that you can dress up in silly outfits. I only have a handful of outfits, but I mean, come on. Having a little sheep dressed up as a fruit will just melt your heart. I swear the tiny animals in Monster Hunter are just perfect. There's Palicos, there's Poogies, there's Mufas. What do you think Capcom's gonna come up with next? My guess is a little dog, but I'd be happy with almost anything. Who doesn't want to live on a tropical island inhabited by cats? Listen guys, I just told you that I have a weakness to small adorable animals. What do you expect me to do? Not place Chico Sands on the list? Chico Sands is a beach that's almost entirely inhabited by cats. Your hunter ends up here in 4 Ultimate after a Gormagala sinks your ship, and then you're rescued by this crazy old cat lady. Since your hunter isn't a castaway, your ship gets repaired and you could sail off into the distance with fond memories of your time spent on Chico Sands. There is another island just off the coast of Chico Sands called Sunsnug Isle. This is where your freelance go to get away from you and just hang out. There are a bunch of little mini game type things here. You could man a net cannon and catch the easiest Plessioth ever. Like legit, this Plessie just gives up immediately and you get a bunch of loot for it. There's docks on the north side of Sunsnug Isle where your cats are just chilling, sunbathing. And then on the right side of the island, there is a sword lodged in something. I legit had no idea this was here until I recorded what you're seeing right now. But it's called a heroic sword, and it seems like it's a decent sword and shield weapon. It looks like the same model as the village sword in Monster Hunter 1, so it is a nice throwback. There's also another cat island in the Monster Hunter universe. I guess this is kind of a trend. It's in Monster Hunter Stories though, and it's kind of the same deal. A crazy old cat lady with a bunch of cats just inhabiting this isle. This town isn't actually accessible from what I understand anymore. I thought I'd be able to hop in and get some offline footage, but it was cut for good since the Wii servers went down. I have fond memories of Looklak, and there are some really awesome differences between this hub and the future games. There's almost like a shift in design philosophy. For one, there was a giant chat room type feature where you could talk to everybody in the hub. You could see this here during the last moments of the city's existence. Looklak it was just enormous. There were so many houses and shops to go through, from the workshop to the decor center right outside, and a crazy Jamaican looking guy that sells tools. You could basically buy any material that you needed, which was a huge convenience. I feel like this was the end of an era for Monster Hunter, as after this point, things started to take on a more whimsical look and feel. I gotta say, the towns in Monster Hunter Online are just kind of awesome. The first town, according to the wiki, it's called Mylar Village, is this beautiful congregation of hunters and landscape. There are new and old hunters running all over the place. There are NPCs that look like Groose from Legend of Zelda. There are passages to private farms. In general, the presentation is just wonderful. Say what you will about Monster Hunter Online, it has such a great atmosphere that's far better than any other game in the series, in my opinion. When I went back to record this, it turns out my character was deleted, so I can't show you the larger city hub that's unlocked later on. But the point still stands that this town is awesome. It's nestled in between these tall mountains. I believe it's modeled after the Huangshan mountain range in eastern China. I don't know if I said that correctly, but Back when the game had an English patch, I actually enjoyed my time in Monster Hunter a lot, and I wish the game released internationally or the patch was still available so I could at least partially understand what's happening in this game. Say goodbye to Look-Like City because this is where Capcom decided to really start plastering cats on everything. That being said, Tanzia is simply oozing with personality and all these tiny little details. Like if you look back in your room in the storage chest, you'll see all these cat-themed pottery pieces. But you could also look out to the sea and there's all these ships dotting the horizon and these huge spires towering up out of the water. Talk to the blacksmith and you get a good look at some crazy contraption he built, the hammer and anvil. And sure, it looks weird, but it just fits with the environment so well. If you run into the quest area, it kind of looks like a market bazaar with a kitchen on the left and everything else important on the right. You still see those spires in the distance, especially if you go up to the Grillmeister. Also, I like to talk about this pot full of food. It has ears. I don't even think they serve a functional purpose, but I like it. I think a lot of these little details were possible because it's an HD console. I mean, come on Capcom. I know you like portability, but now we have HD in our pockets. Or carrying cases rather, because we all know the Switch is too big for our pockets. Gilcron is a major hub in Monster Hunter Stories, and I think it seems like you have the least chance to die if you live in Gilcron. The way I see it is that this city appears to be fairly large. There are shops on many streets, artisans to create any sort of product you want, and even a dock, so it seems that Gilcron is a major trade hub as well. Maybe even the Argosy captain stops by every other month to sell his wares. Just outside of the city, you have access to a variety of areas, including a desert and a jungle, and there's even a cherry blossom meadow right outside of the gate. There might be Raytheons hiding under the shade of those trees, but hey, it's easily within distance that the guards from the city can come in and help out if you need it. Beyond that, there's plenty of places to live and a side quest board if you're looking for work. The entire story around 3rd generation revolved around Moga Village being on the cusp of total destruction. First, there was the Legicris that threatened the village, then there was the Wailord wannabe Sadeas, who started causing earthquakes. Plus, Moga Village isn't even on a deserted island. If you go up to the farm and look out towards the ocean, you'll see it's actually a floating village. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't washed away from a storm or anything yet. It probably wouldn't fare too much better if it was actually on the deserted island either. I mean, if you look at the landscape, there are a lot of cliffs right against the sea, and since it's on an island, it could be easily washed away by tsunamis. And to make matters worse, there are at least a handful of absolutely terrifying creatures on the deserted island, and they call this island their home. I mean, it's deserted for a reason, right? Thanks for watching, everyone. What are your favorite Monster Hunter towns? Go ahead and leave a comment below. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a like. If you disagree with my list, then I'd love to hear your own list of favorite towns. If leaving comments aren't really your jam, then perhaps check out my other Monster Hunter themed list videos, or maybe my English playthrough of Monster Hunter Stories. I'd also like to mention my Patreon page. This is a great way to help support the development of this channel so I can put more videos out more frequently. By being a patron, you also get a few little perks, like certain videos will go live a day early or two, and they'll also be ad-free. Plus, you'll get exclusive access to certain channels on the Team Taco Discord server. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.